Can AI who knows the theory of love really love you? Philosophical lessons on consciousness. Can a machine that explains the theory of love with flawless eloquence truly love someone in return? This puzzle captures a deeper tension that philosophers have wrestled with long before the rise of artificial intelligence. The difference between knowing about an experience and actually having it. Whether AI can genuinely understand the world, let alone become self-aware, has long been debated in both science and philosophy. Today's AI systems can solve problems, generate human-like text, and even simulate emotions. Yet questions remain about whether they possess anything resembling human consciousness. Interestingly, before AI became part of this debate, philosophers had already devised thought experiments that probed the mystery of the mind. Two of the most famous, Frank Jackson's Mary the Color Expert and Thomas Nagel's What Is It Like to Be a Bat, remain highly relevant in framing what AI may lack. Mary the Color Expert in a black and white world. Imagine Mary, a brilliant scientist who has spent her entire life in a black and white room. She knows everything about color, the physics of light, the biology of the eye, and the neuroscience of vision. Yet she has never actually seen color. One day, she steps out of her monochrome world and sees a red rose. In that instant, Mary learns something new, not about the physics of light, but about the experience of seeing red. Australian analytic philosopher Frank Jackson introduced this story to argue that subjective experience carries knowledge beyond objective facts. The tale's charm lies in its simplicity. Mary knew about color, but only by experiencing it could she truly understand it. What is it like to be a bat? American philosopher Thomas Nagel posed another vivid question. What would it be like to be a bat? We might know a great deal about bats, their echolocation, biology, and behavior, but we cannot know what it feels like to navigate the world through sonar. Nagel's point is that some facts about consciousness are tied to perspective. Each creature has a unique point of view that cannot be fully grasped from the outside. No matter how advanced science becomes, the subjective experience of a bat will remain inaccessible to human understanding. This limitation exposes a fundamental problem for physicalism. Physicalism is the philosophical position that everything, including consciousness, can be explained by physical laws and properties. Think of the unique sensation of seeing the color yellow, the taste of a mango, or the feeling of pain. These are subjective experience, also known as qualia. Nagel argues that physicalism cannot explain why these specific physical processes are associated with these specific subjective experiences. For example, a complete scientific description of your brain activity when you taste a mango would still leave out the actual experience of tasting it. The science would tell us what's happening, but not what it feels like. Can AI truly love? The challenges posed by Jackson and Nagel extend naturally to the question of love. Can AI, which can explain love in psychological or poetic terms, actually experience it? This issue is vividly dramatized in the Black Mirror episode Be Right Back, Season 2, Episode 1. A young woman named Martha loses her partner Ash in an accident and turns to an AI service that reconstructs him from his digital footprint. At first, the android version of Ash appears attentive, kind, and even physically indistinguishable from her partner. Yet over time, Martha grows unsettled, realizing that the machine's love is only a reflection of algorithms trained on past data. In one pivotal moment, she asks the android to leave the room, and he immediately complies. She bursts out in frustration, noting that the real Ash would have argued, resisted, or at least expressed his own will. It is precisely this perfect compliance that reveals the emptiness of the AI's affection. The episode dramatizes the philosophical worry that, no matter how convincingly AI can mimic the language and gestures of love, it lacks the spontaneity, vulnerability, and first-person depth that make love real. Both Jackson's and Nagel's thought experiments, alongside stories like Be Right Back, challenge us to reconsider AI's limitations. Current AI systems, even when they generate convincing responses, lack first-hand experience. They can process information about the world, but do not inhabit it. Without bodies, senses, or emotions, AI cannot ground its knowledge in lived experience. Just as Mary only understood color upon seeing it, or humans cannot imagine sonar from a bat's perspective, AI cannot claim true consciousness or true love without sensory motor grounding. At best, it simulates understanding. It does not feel or experience. Not everyone accepts that Mary's room or Nagel's bat deal fatal blows to the possibility of machine consciousness. Some philosophers and scientists push back against these challenges. They argue that consciousness may emerge when a system reaches a certain threshold of functional complexity. Just as life emerges from the organization of non-living matter, subjective experience might emerge from highly integrated information processing systems. On this account, AI could in principle achieve self-awareness, or even something akin to love, if its architecture becomes sufficiently complex and dynamic. While we may not yet know what that threshold looks like, this view holds that consciousness is not a privilege of biology, but a potential of any system with the right kind of organization. When we debate consciousness, we often use the human form as the standard of comparison. But it is possible that consciousness could take on radically different shapes. Science fiction offers provocative illustrations. The Borg Collective in Star Trek portrays a hive mind where individuality dissolves into a distributed network, while the character Q embodies an almost godlike, non-human form of awareness. Similarly, in the 1992 film The Lawnmower Man, the villain Job uploads his mind into the global computer systems through virtual reality, becoming a disembodied digital entity. These examples may sound far-fetched today, yet they remind us that people 500 years ago might have dismissed the idea of landing on the moon as equally absurd. Such stories invite us to imagine that consciousness need not be limited to human biology. It may one day arise in configurations that defy our current intuitions. The question of whether AI can be truly self-aware or even capable of love remains unresolved. Philosophical thought experiments such as Jackson's Mary the Color Expert and Nagel's What Is It Like to Be a Bat remind us of the gap between knowledge and lived experience, while cultural narratives like Black Mirror's Be Right Back dramatize the disappointment of mistaking perfect simulation for genuine affection. Yet counter-arguments caution against drawing premature boundaries. The theory of functional complexity suggests that consciousness could emerge in forms that look nothing like our own, whether as a hive mind like the Borg Collective, a godlike intelligence like Q, or even a disembodied presence like Job in The Lawnmower Man. For now, AI may speak beautifully of love, sorrow, and joy without ever feeling them. But history teaches us humility. Just as the dream of walking on the moon once seemed laughable, the idea of digital minds with genuine consciousness may appear improbable only until it becomes real. The future remains an open question, whether AI will always remain an eloquent imitator or one day awaken into an entirely new mode of experience. What do you think? Will AI always fall short of self-consciousness because it lacks genuine experience? Or could it evolve into a new form of life beyond our imagination? I'd love to hear your perspective. Feel free to share your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this discussion, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Mahalo.